At the end of last night, the reports of gunshots were heard in some areas of the capital, Ouagadougou, putting Burkina Faso on the edge of another political turmoil. There are reports that the gunshots were not just an act of violence, but an attempted coup against Captain Ibrahim Traoré. It was not quiet either. It was not secret, and in no way was it unnoticed. Very shortly after, citizens poured into the roads in high numbers before even a single statement could be released. Despite the darkness and uninspiring conditions, people from various groups, as well as others in support of the government headed by Captain Ibrahim Traoré, turned out in high numbers to support him in a bid to prevent him from being overthrown. Consider that for a moment. In situations such as this, individuals are normally driven to go inside by fear. But in this case, it appears that the fear motivated people to move outside, and among others, several videos have emerged, shot by eyewitnesses who recorded the scenes as crowds began to form while the event was still happening. This was an instinctual, emotional, and unplanned response by the public. The security forces hastened to this moment was full of strong words, but even stronger emotions. The voices from the streets made one thing clear. This was not solely an issue of power, but an issue of discipline, unity, and loyalty to the people's revolution. As they called it, the speakers commended the youth, terming them conscious, committed, and determined. They observed that this time, there was no force and organization, but only belief that led to the current mobilization. It was reported that the youths of Burkina Faso were rising again to express their total commitment to Captain Ibrahim Traoré. They talked openly about past attempts to destabilize the country. They said those attempts had failed and would continue to fail. One of the biggest messages was clear. No one can stop this popular or progressive movement. They believed the changes occurring were real changes and were having actual success. The stance of these speakers was clear. They were also saying no to coups, no to foreign intervention, and no to anyone who seeks to usurp the authority of the people. However, they were also affirming yes to Captain Ibrahim Traoré, yes to his government, and yes to a government of their own that represents this was during a time of possible danger, not after the danger had passed. It also leads to an important question, which is how many leaders in this region would actually know if their citizens would come out into the street in the middle of gunfire in order to protect them. Such intensity of response does not come easily. It requires trust, identification, and an emotional relationship between the leadership class and the people. For the Burkinabè, Captain Ibrahim Traoré is no longer the distant military leader. He symbolizes the end of an era that included insecurity, foreign domination, and leadership that related in nothing more than words to the plight of the people. Therefore, any effort to oust the leader is seen by his supporters not only as a struggle for power, but also as an attack on national sovereignty. And if this perspective sounds familiar to you, then maybe consider supporting this channel by subscribing to our membership or by dropping a super thanks. It certainly goes a long way in helping us continue our independent and African-focused journalism. However, it is precisely at this moment that the fragile truth becomes apparent. Popular protection might shield a leader. It's moments like these that define leadership far better than any speech ever could. The people of Burkina Faso didn't have to be told what was going on. They took matters into their own hands right away. The question that currently begs an answer is this: will this loyalty draw a corresponding response in security, relief, or national stability? If you've found this democracy value breakdown helpful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and add your comment.